Good morning, everyone. Virgo here. It is June 21st, 2019. Happy Friday to everyone. Okay, you guys, I want you to look at this that's in the search engine of YouTube right now, 1099 OID. I just got through searching and going through a bunch of these search results, and the top one is legitimate. That's it. The top one. The top one is the one that's legitimate. So the reason this is important is because there was an article that I just recently read out of Forbes that I think that everybody needs to be aware of. The 1099 OID scam has been going on annually for many, many, many years now. But with the rise of the Harvey Dent pay your bills with your social security number crap, and the rise of the April to June bogus UCC financial statement paperwork crap, and the claims of hundreds of other TDA redemption theory gurus across YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and everywhere else, we now have hundreds of videos on hundreds of pages that are all set up to get you in big, big trouble. And one amongst them that is accurate. First of all, let me tell you what a 1099 OID actually is. It's an Internal Revenue Service form. When bonds and certain other debt instruments are issued at a discount to the value of maturity, the difference between the issue price and the redemption value is what is considered the OID, the original issue discount. That difference in value can be said to arise from imputed interest on original instrument and the annual inputted interest is taxable income under federal law. Okay, so this is all that this form is used for. It is used for the purpose of the taxable income that is considered from the discounted rate that you purchase the bond at to the actual redemption rate. Those in between those two lines, that tells you what the total is, and that amount is taxable. Period. That's it. That's all it's used for. But let's take a look. Here we have 1099 OID publication 1212. Read the instructions. Follow the yellow brick road. Eon. J.C. Anderson, 1099 OID process. The redemption process. 1099, C, cancellation of debt, understanding tax on forgiven debts, Falcon Credit Management. That one I'm not absolutely sure of. I would have to go into it to double check and see exactly what he's talking about. But again, can't confirm it from the actual video. Forget the TDA BS and pay bills with the 1099 process and more by Eon. Proof of $41,000 IRS debt discharged and refund issued, Part 1 of 5 by True Freeman. Here's Noble L. talking about the 1099 OID with the IRS. We have Lee Innes EA, cancellation of debts, 1099C and 1099A. 1099 OID issued for HR 1424. And this is Nanya L. 1099C, cancellation of debt and debt settlement. I mean, it's unbelievable how to pay your, oh my gosh. It just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. And there we have the lovely Jean Keating, who loves to spew this crap as though it is champagne. Pages and pages of this, ladies and gentlemen. And let me show you why it is that this is actually something that I want to talk about today. Whoops. Sorry About that, went to the wrong page. Okay, the OID fraud and criminal gullibility. This is an article written by Forbes. This is with regards to the 1099 OID and the redemption theory and how it is putting people in federal prison left and right. April J. Rampton was sentenced to 21 months in federal prison for filing false claims for income tax refunds. She tried appealing her conviction to the 10th Circus. That's exactly what it should be. The 10th Circus. Okay, the 10th Circuit, excuse me. I guess I haven't had enough coffee this morning. But that did not go well. Her defense was based on a theory of collateral estoppel, which was a new one on me. This defense arises where a government agent authorizes a defendant to engage in otherwise criminal conduct, and the defendant relying thereon commits forbidden acts in the mistaken but reasonable good faith belief that he has been, in fact, authorized to do so. Miss Rampton had filed for a tax refund using the 1099 OID technique, which is supported by the theory of redemption. She received a 6-figure refund and was so delighted that she started helping her friends do exactly the same thing. Her argument, which went nowhere with the 10th Circuit, or circus as we like to call it, was that the IRS more or less led her along by issuing the refund, and that should be enough to avoid criminal liability in her opinion. I actually have a little bit of sympathy for her. This is Forbes speaking, not me, but I'll give you a little background and you can decide for yourself. Then he goes in to talk about what the OID really actually is, which I just already had just informed you guys what it is. And then he says, how can OID generate big refunds? Legitimately, it can't. The 1099 OID form includes a box that indicates the amount of withholding on the income that is reported. People were filling out the forms for themselves and attaching them to their returns. The amount of withholding recorded was equal to or at least out of proportion of the income reported, thereby generating a substantial refund. Why did people think that this might be legitimate? Well, that's a little difficult to explain. Here is some of the discussion that was actually going on in the courtroom. Defendant's explanation at trial was incomprehensible. She testified to the following rationale for her entries on the 1099 OID forms. Whatever loans you had, anything that you had actually signed loan paperwork on, car loans, mortgages, credit cards, and any of those that the bank was able to take on your loan paperwork, and it became an asset, and it became like cash to them. So this process was a way that we as a person taking out the loan would be able to have access to that money instead of the bank having access to the money. The IRS is a tax collector for us, the people. The IRS would become the middleman between us, the general public, and loan holders and the banks, and that they would be able to go to the banks and enforce this. All right, let me talk to you guys about this. Do you remember when April Lejeune was making claims that the bank would walk over to a back room somewhere and cash in a promissory note right after someone signed it and stand there and get cash for it? Do you remember when it was that Harvey Dent, about a year and a half ago, was making the claim that automatically a company is getting paid whether they receive payment from you or not? As a matter of fact, if you pay them, they're getting paid twice. Do you remember hearing these things back about a year and a half ago? I'm sure that, well, you can't find Harvey's because his channel was taken down for bullying, but you can still probably find April Lejeune's. These are the kinds of lies that have been told to make people believe these kinds of things. And the reason why this particular article is interesting is because Winston Shrout happens to be mentioned in it. Winston Shrout actually taught April Rampton how to do this. And then she, in turn, started teaching other people. As I said, she was sentenced to 21 months in federal prison for filing false claims for income tax refunds that had to do with 1099s. She received some god-awful amount, 600 and something thousand dollars, in a refund check, and then blamed the IRS, stating that the IRS should have audited her return prior to sending her the refund. That isn't what happens with the IRS. The IRS checks to make sure that you don't have any actual errors in your math, and that you have signed your return, and that your Social Security matches up to the information from your previous returns. And as long as all of that is in place, they generally process everything by computer now. You don't generally see an actual audit come up for about 15 to 18 months if you're going to be audited. And of course, you're not safe for about 7 years. But usually within the first 3 years, you're going to find something out. And generally, with a large amount, it would be sooner than later. Regardless, it wouldn't be immediate. And it, of course, ignorance of the laws did not save her. She did receive the 21 months in federal prison. And if you go down and you actually take a look here, you will see that Winston Shrout was the person who actually taught her this. And I'm going to link this in the description of the video so you guys can actually take a look at it. Oh gosh. Well, anyway, you guys know I'm telling you the truth, and you can read it for yourself. He's in there. Okay, so this is a good there we go, Winston Shrout, looky there. Okay, so this is a good example of what I am talking about here. This 1099 OID, I mean, seriously, you guys, there may be one or two throughout the whole damn thing that is correct information explaining what an original issue discount actually is. The rest of it is all redemption bullshit. It's all about, how to steal from the Treasury, how to steal from the IRS, how to steal from the American taxpayers is what it really boils down to. And it's hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of videos. This is what I'm referring to with getting accurate information out there for people to view. Because let's stop and think about it. You've got 2 videos that tell you what original issue discount is. It doesn't tell you how to file it. It doesn't tell you why you would use it exactly. It just tells you what the form is, and it tells you what original issue discount means. You got 2 of them like that. You've got hundreds that are telling you that you can get out of debt by using the 1099 OID. And if it was totally a scam, would there be hundreds of videos on it? If we don't find a way to combat this misinformation, we're going to have a serious problem. And more people who cannot afford to go further into debt are going to find themselves further in debt and in a lot of actual trouble. Now, I realize that the majority of people that watch my channel on a regular basis already know that these things are not true. But some of you know what it's like to be in the position of someone who doesn't know that these things are not true, and then finding yourself at the hands of a con artist like April LeJeune, Harvey Dent, Eon, and so many more. It's embarrassing, it's humiliating, and it costs. It costs a lot sometimes. And for people like Heather Ann Tucci and Randall Keith Bean, it can cost your freedom. So as a community, I think we owe it to everyone to work on trying to get the information out there. My database is one way. If you want to donate to that, the link will be in the description. Making sure that you share these videos on your social media, another way to assist with getting the information out there. Just a note to everybody to let you know that I am going to be doing one live stream a week for a while now in place of the radio show. It appears that Blog Talk Radio still has not corrected the issues on their platform, and I'm not willing to wait any longer. I have a bunch of things that I need to go over, and so Virgo Unfiltered is going to be going up every single week on live stream where everybody can chat, and I need a volunteer. And I need that volunteer to send me an email at virgotriad@protonmail.com. I actually may need 2 or 3. I need moderators. If you're willing to get a wrench for the live stream and watch out for those that try to thwart people who are getting actual information that is actual fact, and try to, speak either poorly about the channel or try to start arguments or try to start some sort of mischief, I need to have a couple of watchdogs on there. So if you're interested in helping me out with that, please send me an email, virgotriad@protonmail.com. And please don't forget, if anybody is able to, even in very small amounts, donate to my GoFundMe account for virgotriad.com. Let's get this database up and going. All right, you guys, have a great day.